pretty much everyone likes music. Some people love music. For some people, it's the most important thing in their life. And it's something that's really, really important to me. And, music is arguably the highest art form, and it can take you to places and communicate with you in a way that, even literature and poetry and film can't. And you can enter into the inner world of good artists, good composers. You can experience things in a way that is perhaps more eloquent than you get from even poetry and literature. It's that immersive experience that you can get. It's almost like a drug, and you can become addicted to it. And you want that willing suspension of disbelief. And one of the big things that gets in the way of that willing suspension of disbelief is the technology.
I don't think there's anything that sounds like it in London. It can really kick it out, but it's also very light and natural and musical, and your what I think of as your sound, which I've
great. Makes me so happy. You don't want to be aware that you're listening to a hi-fi system. You want to completely forget the here and now. And if you have that deep and immersive experience, it's absolutely wonderful. It's nice to try and create an illusion of musical performance that can give you a transcendent experience. And you don't get that transcendence from a kitchen radio. You don't get that transcendence from an OK system. You can enjoy music on an OK system, but it doesn't sweep you away the way a very single-minded and determined system can. It's quite an exciting project. Let's see how we get on.
Let's listen.
Okay. The music that presents the most difficulty to a hi-fi system is captured acoustic musical performance. It's certainly one of the most difficult things for a loudspeaker to be able to reproduce in a seamless and coherent way. With a string quartet, you've got 4 voices that have got normally the same timbral characteristics. So they're all either plucked or bowed string tones. And on a lot of hi-fi systems, you can't easily distinguish between the 2 violins, or the upper range of the viola and the lower range of the violin, or the upper range of the cello and the lower range of the viola. And it can be sort of quite a homogenised sound world. You're listening to an ensemble of performers that are at the top of their game, that have mastered a piece and reproduce it within a natural acoustic. A string quartet music, it's so mobile and flexible and expressive, and you can have unison playing folding into a question and answer, parry, riposte, counterpoint playing. The expressive range for the composer within a string quartet is absolutely vast, even though you've got just these 4 voices. And on a really super duper system, those voices become very, very individual, and it's not just that you can hear the sound difference between the instruments. The expressive performing by the artist on the first violin, on the second violin, on the viola, on the cello, all become very, very individual. And it's that living, organic, evolving thing that is the joy of a string quartet. That sort of music, where you haven't got electronics in the way, that asks the most challenging questions of a hi-fi system. But that's not to say that we only want to listen to classical music and we only want to listen to acoustic.
The listening parties are sort of continuing. There's all the album launches, and we've done Beach Boys, Depeche Mode, Bob Dylan, Bruce Springsteen, Leonard Cohen, Chemical Brothers, Sam Smith. So it's the range of material is wild on that system.
So it's quite nice that you can play banging club tunes as well as Petrus Fast.
Yeah. If there was a club that sounded like that, you wouldn't get me out of it. That sounded gorgeous. So that was Felix, Laband, The track's Righteous Red Berets, and that's the Luke Vibert remix. Kind of spans all sorts of genres. Who put you onto that?
I know, obsessive purchasing. Poor old Lynn. There's an LP arrives every day of the week.
Well, that sounded gorgeous. I'm going to track that down.
Good music is good music. I want to enjoy any good music. And I think once you've got your system cooking on that most challenging material, it will work on everything. It'll work on your Beatles White Album, and it will work on your Mahler 3. It's lovely to be able to have access to that in your life and for it to be able to move you and touch you.